beats. Can you give me some beats?
So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through scene 4, okay, which is when Claudie comes on with a new dress. Lydian, you're going to be sitting here and Claudie's going to come and have the conversation with you about you're still waiting for love and you've got your heart.
Yeah.
It's such a deep process. It's such a long process, 2.5 years in the making, along different stages of creative development and research and development.
And then we're just going to run through that material as it is.
There's not a lot of bands, any band that you'd say, let's do a show with a performance and act, and you perform, move about and dance, and your music will feature. It's like a contemporary music theatre work, you know.
Give it back to me.
I can't fight love.
Okay, and then Matt will go with what's on the script. So Lydian's going to this time, I work for a company called Urban Theatre Projects. However, when I was invited to direct this show, I was a freelance artist and Julian Louis, the artistic director of Norpa, asked me if I wanted to just kind of meet a band.
I went and saw a gig of a performance by Tralala Blip at the Lismore Regional Gallery, and it was a very intimate concert, and there was this electronica band, heads down, playing weird machines, bipping and lights flashing, and they were playing these little machines that I didn't even know how they worked, cubes and the Norion, which is this light, it lights up this disc, and I was just very curious about the aesthetics of that.
Tralala Blip is an electronic music ensemble. There's 5 of us, and we do sort of like, electronic outside of pop type of stuff. Sometimes experimental, pretty experimental stuff.
And I guess my interest in that was to, amplify them in a physical way. But also I always saw it as an installation work as well, that you entered their world, into their music and into their dreams, really.
Sound basically was the starting point for a lot of the conversations because of Tralala Blip. Obviously the project came out of the band, so all of that musical information and ideas that they had were a place for us to start exploring what the ideas for the work would be.
Hang with Andy now, get ready for... But it's very different from a live performance as the band. So there has been challenges for all of us, but I think the beautiful thing about working with a mixed ability ensemble is that we all have learnt from each other every step of the way.
My Radio Heart and Tralala Blip, it's a pretty natural fit, apart from being nervous about actually performing and not behind a row of instruments all the time, because we're used to sort of being able to just focus on instruments, and now we're having to just do a little bit and then do what Rosie asks, and that's been challenging but fun
very
too.
challenging but fun.
Yes, it's very challenging. But great.
It's tricky to see the door.
Yeah.
It's tricky to see the door. But Nan, you just go in there. Yep. You know it's on this side of the monitor.
Yeah, I did actually. I don't do that what she did. Yeah. These are goggles. I'm a sinker. Yeah, I put my goggles on. Yeah, I take it off slow.
I think it originally started with these guys, the Tralala Blip guys, talking about how do you find love. I remember when this photo was taken. When your life is so regimented by routine, and in some ways the show is still about that. It's about a young man who has lost something.
What's that?
My heart.
Can I hold it?
No, I don't think so. This was a girl I love.
Oh, Liv, don't you love me?
Of course I did. It's not like that.
Matt is the creator, I guess, and he's, created different aspects of, could be perceived as his personality or his needs to move forward with his life. So there's the romantic, there's the maintenance, there's the memories, and there's the searcher. So I guess it's the same for everybody in their search in life. So it's just projected onto different multiple platforms here.
To me, the show is really interesting because it's when thinking about video and theatre, in theatre and performance and dance, it's usually used as a sort of backdrop. But in this show, it's a little bit of meta video in a way, in that from the beginning, it's clear that the video is orchestrated by one of the performers, Matt. He turns the video on, he cues things, he cues the characters in the videos to come on in the background.
I think as well the relationship between the characters is quite unusual. You don't often see the kind of dimensionality in a work, and that's for me one of the really exciting things, is seeing the way that Rosie creates these linkages between these different worlds that are existing in the same physical space.
We'll have like a coming in a bit slower back into the grid world.
It's really nice of ideas that were from the very beginning, before we even really knew what the show was about, to see those ideas kind of come into the space. So that little heart there that Lydian carries, you know, was one of the very first ideas of him having something that lights up, his heart light up. So, you know, I think it's satisfying for the guys as well. Yeah.
I was just making some new music. I did one for my new song to Phoebe Boys, and she made a song too. It's about me, and yeah, we make some music. Yeah.
Yeah, we all practice. We actually all practice in a church hall a few times.
Yeah.
We've
been doing like creative developments for around 18 months. Yeah?
It's a lot of months. Yeah.
We've been very fortunate to be very well funded for this project, and that allowed us to build workshops into the development stage.
It's been a mix of a devising process, but also of, you know, really workshop process of timing, of rhythm, of, you know, building focus and concentration and just their skills.
It's great to see people develop and potential. I get a little bit teary when I talk about that, but it's that's one of the coolest things about working with this mixed ability ensemble.
And it's a really fantastic creative team around this project, like Sam James, who's a long-time collaborator of mine. You know, Lawrence English from Brizzy, he's been just working really closely with the band on sound design.
I think that model of a regional company with a great idea and a really interesting community being amplified and brought to life through really high calibre artistic work through a company in Sydney, or in collaboration with that company and our great team, it's a match made in heaven.